Thank you. Mr. Agnew.
Thank you. I was interested to see that there are 38 countries involved in this, which means it goes way beyond the European Union and is something that we in the United Kingdom can engage in post-Brexit without having the accusations thrown at us that if we leave the European Union, we will no longer have the advantage of this, that and the other. So that point made. This discussion is really all about the concept of intellectual property, that somebody invents something and they want to be rewarded for their work. And you have to strike a balance here. It's very easy to make the emotive argument, but you're going to give control and the ownership of the world's food supply to a few large companies. Well, theoretically you might, but I've spent a lifetime in agriculture, and I have looked and witnessed at what plant breeders have done with the benefit of some sort of protection on their intellectual property. I'm thinking of sugar beet, where when I was a boy, if you planted a sugar beet seed, 2 or 3 plants came up that had to be singled out. A very laborious process. The endeavour of plant breeders eventually managed to get what was known as a monogerm seed, 1 plant per seed planted. It revolutionised the growing of sugar beet. The yields were actually potentially lower, but the ease of growing the crop made it very popular with farmers, and that was a remarkable achievement. But above and beyond that, they have nearly tripled the yield of sugar beet in my lifetime, and this has been done because of the protection of intellectual property. I'm thinking about cereals, where as a young man, we would always have the problem of what was known as lodging, with the straw being weak in heavy rains, and all of the crop would lie flat on the ground, making it very difficult to harvest with weeds coming through. Plant breeders have managed to strengthen the straw so it stands up straight for the combine. Another problem that nature presented us with was something called shedding. In windy weather near harvest, the seeds would simply blow out of the ears. Plant breeders have used their efforts to make sure the seeds stay in the ears and can get harvested, and the cereal yields have nearly tripled in my lifetime. I've noticed a revolution in potato growing, which isn't being allowed to come to fruition. Potatoes suffer from a disease called late blight. It is devastating. We have to spray sometimes as many as 19 times to try and prevent this. Plant breeders have come up with a solution, but it required genetic modification. They haven't been allowed to use it. I went to the John Innes Institute, where they had a demonstration of potatoes which were genetically modified, which were perfectly healthy, and those around which hadn't been and were dead with blight. We need to be using this technology, and those who the endeavours of those who bring it to the market should be recognised. The question I have, it's not just a speech, is what is the average life of a patent and roughly how much does it cost? Thank you.
For the European patent, that was the question from Mr. Agnew. How long or how much does it cost? So normally a European patent, the official fees cumulate to something like 5,000 euros at the moment, which are to be paid in some different parts during the procedure. Of course, there are appeal costs, or there are attorney costs that might come to that. And the normal European patent is, the average is that they are kept in force for about 12 years. That is, of course, due to payment of renewal fees every year for all the member states when the patent has been granted. Then, and also, I would like to refer to Mr. Agnew, who mentioned that there are also inventions in this area, and that is what we have been trying to figure out there. There needs to be a balance, of course, so between what is essentially biological and products obtained from essentially biological processes cannot be patented. On the other hand, there are technical inventions as well, and there we are following very closely the case law from the Court of Justice, whether it's about genetically modified or gene technology or whatever aspects there, we take all that into account.